Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my review on 24 of the recently released ColourPop pressed powders. So they've had their Super Shock shadows for a while, that the ones that are kind of like a jelly formula, like a creamy powder. It's hard to describe what they are. But in the past several months, they've recently released these. They're calling them pressed powders, which I mean, they are pressed powders, but I think most people would just call them eyeshadow pans. As always, there will be timestamps below if you care to skip ahead to any certain area. I'll be discussing cost breakdowns, swatches. There'll be some comparative swatches against other product formulas so you can see how they swatch, kind of how they'll perform, shipping details, all that stuff. So the first couple times I ordered from ColourPop, I got a quad of their shadows to try. I did get one of their lippy sticks. I got an ultra matte. I've always experienced decent shipping wait times, well outside a week normally when I have ordered. For these, I actually got them really quick. I ordered them on March 7th at night too, at like 6:40, and I just looked through my emails. They shipped on March 9th, and then they were delivered by the USPS on March 11th. They are just shipping up from the LA area, so it's not too far up to San Francisco. I bought 24 shades at $5 each, factoring in California state tax. I paid $128.60. You do get free domestic shipping at $30. Get free international shipping at an order of $50 or more, although keep in mind you will have to pay duties or import tax. If you're below that, shipping is $5.99 in the US. They do not take returns and they do not take exchanges. The only thing that they will do is if your product was damaged in shipping, they will send you out a replacement with some proof. The thing I find odd is on their customer service page, which I will show here, they say that due to the low cost of their products, they can't offer returns. But what I'm going to show you in a little bit is they're really not that low cost. I mean, they're giving you smaller amounts of product, so it seems like they're more accessible. I'll show you in a little bit. So currently in their offerings, all but 11 of their pressed powders, and now they have something called like a pressed pigment, which is still under that umbrella for them, are vegan. All but 5 of my shades are vegan, and I will note those in the swatches. I don't want to hold the shadows up and show them all to you because I'm in the process of replacing all my Z palettes, which I had about 17. I actually counted them. I had 18 of them, so that's well over $500 for me to replace them. So I'm doing it in pieces. It's going to take me a little bit. Again, I don't think any of you guys, if you spent your money on them, should throw that away. That's foolish. The only reason I am is because I do use products on camera and I don't want to advocate for a shitty company. The owner was being a gigantic jerk to some of her subscribers and stuff. I'm sure all of you guys have heard that, so I'm not going to be holding them up. But I will show them to you in these 4-pan palettes that ColourPop sent out. So I ordered 24 and they just randomly included 2 of these, which I thought was weird because it's like, why wouldn't you include 6 of these if I got 24 and just 2? But I don't care because I don't really care for these. I won't use them. I somehow had powder on my face. Awesome. So at first I was only going to get 6 of these just so I could make the $30 free shipping, but you guys requested so many different colors and I wanted to make sure I got a good variety from lighter colors to darker colors and made sure I got all the finishes. So I do have one of every finish except for the brand new pressed pigments that they just released the other day. They do offer these in 5 finishes, one being a matte, one being a matte with flecks, which is basically like chunks of glitter in the matte, satin, metallic, and now that new pressed pigment. Currently their range is 65 different shades to choose from. They do have 5 palettes, 4-pan palettes like this available for $18, which is obviously saving you a little bit of money. Well, $2, because if you would buy these individually, they'd be $20. And they have one duo for $10 where you're getting 2 shadows, so you're really not saving any money. These are made in the US and the majority of their shades are vegan. Again, not all. I will note on the ones that I have and I will link their page below so you can check that out. So today I just have some mattes on my eyes, which I will list below in the description box. Shimmers are relatively easy to get correct. I mean, it's difficult. I mean, the lasting power can vary on them, but it's hard to find a shimmer that you swatch with your finger and you're not like, oh, that's really pretty. I was most curious about their mattes. These are made in the USA and they are all cruelty free. One thing that is very confusing in my cost breakdown that you will see is there are several different weights for these listed. On my actual pan, it says it's 1.2 grams. I have seen things listed that say they're 1.5 grams. And weight can vary depending on color and pigment and all those things. Sometimes it just goes by volume, but all of mine say 1.2 on the back, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. I don't know why some people say 1.5. All of mine say 1.2. The shimmers, the mattes, the ones with gold fleck, and again, I got every single finish. So I'm going to go by what's printed on the back of my pan, which is 1.2 grams. So basically for every 4 that you order, I'm pretty sure you can add these on. It's just a little flip thing in the front here, and you can just put in whatever you want. I guess this could be good for traveling if you just wanted to pick 4 and toss them in your bag. I like to have mine all in one big area so I can just dip into whatever I want. That's just personal preference for me though. It's not saying that these are poorly made. I mean, I like the white little stars. It's cute. So application of these. When you dip your brush in, there is some powder kick up, but in all honesty, most of the shadows that I enjoy have powder kick up. That's not something that bothers me. I have noticed though, with some of these mattes, I normally typically prefer to do my face foundation first and then go on and do my eyes. I do notice with these, I do get some fallout. So let's talk about the blending. I've heard people tell me that when they're blending, they feel like the shadow just kind of like disintegrates and blends away. I always use an eyeshadow base before I apply the shadows, and I haven't really noticed that. In my mind, they're a little better for maybe beginners where you can typically put too much on and then maybe it's easier to blend out, opposed to something that's like super pigmented. You put it in the wrong spot and then you're gonna be there for like hours blending it. These blend okay for me. They are a little more on the dry side for me. Just like sometimes I can get some skipping, and I've tried them with a few different eyeshadow bases. They are nice. They don't blow me away though. They're nothing like when I dip my brush in and put them on, I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. I did not have that feeling with any of these shadows. And again, not to say that they're bad, but I have what my favorites are. And so for anything to kind of take that place over, I'm always comparing everything new I tried to what my favorite formulas are. These are not on par, obviously, with like the Viseart eyeshadows. These aren't on par with the AB8 shadows. AB8 shadows are so much more creamy. Like when I pick those up, the mattes on a brush and blend them in, they literally just like blend themselves. I really, really like those eyeshadows. Those are also more than double the cost of these. So that's something to keep in mind. The lasting power on these isn't excellent for me. And again, everybody's eyes vary. I do have dry skin. Normally my eyes aren't really dry and they're not really oily. They're just kind of normal. And again, I do always wear a base. I find if I put them on before work and by the time I come home, if it's like 8 or 9 hours after, because I do typically work long days, what was on my eyes is almost all but gone. It's not on my cheeks or anything. It hasn't fallen down. So I don't really know where it goes, but that's that. I probably get about 4 hours of unwavering wear before they start to kind of like break down and just disappear, which I'm going to show you guys the cost breakdown on this because ColourPop has really positioned themselves to be seen as an affordable brand. I know some people don't agree with my cost breakdown when I show you guys like the cost per gram, because a lot of you come back and tell me, well, I'm never going to use that shadow up. Well, that's fine, but you have to compare apples to apples, because if I were to give you, like, I would rather have half a pan of a Viseart eyeshadow that is a formula I love than a whole big one of Morphe that's the same cost, but I don't like it. Do you know what I mean? So you have to take into account the cost per gram so you can compare it to other formulas in that similar realm, because like the Makeup Forever shadows are huge. You know, some shadows are smaller. It's just a good gauge to understand the true value of the product, whether you'll use the whole thing or not. I really do like their lippy sticks. I hate even saying that word, lippy. I really like their lippy sticks. I like their lip pencils, but when you do the cost breakdown of what you're getting per tube for the $5, they're actually not that much less than MAC products. And I say that because MAC is a very popular brand. They've been out for so long. Most people know where MAC falls on kind of like their quality scale. So it's pretty easy to compare it to those things. And I do feel like MAC quality has taken a turn for the worst in recent years as well since they've been sold. Now, MAC and Makeup Geek shadows, I mean Makeup Geek, the regular shadows, not their, and like their duochromes, not their foiled shadows, because those are $10. But these are only $1 less than that. But these are also smaller than them. So to me, that's what their competition is MAC and Makeup Geek. Do you know how often I reach for my MAC shadows? Almost never. I almost never ever reach for them anymore. There are so many better products out there for me. And I really do like my Makeup Geek shadows too, but to me those are different. Makeup Geeks are talc free, so the blendability is a little different, and I find the pigment a little different. And the lasting power for me is better on my Makeup Geek than they are for these. Although these shimmers in here that are only $5 are much better than the regular Makeup Geek $6 shimmers, for me anyway. They're not better than their foiled shadows though. So a couple of you ladies on my Instagram, some women of color, mentioned that they got these shades and that they liked the performance of the shadows, except the color looked nothing like what it was pictured on their website versus what they got. That is a common problem I have with a lot of brands. Like I'll look at the color online and then I get it, I'm like, that doesn't look like that on me. But skin tone, depth matters, lighting matters, if they mess with the saturation and all of those different things. Now, ColourPop has had some issues in the past. They named some of their shades some controversial names for their deeper shades, and that really pissed a lot of people off, which is understandable. And then Ripley sent me something that I was just kind of like, what? And I tried to play devil's advocate and make excuses. But Ripley was on the ColourPop website, and it was something for their liquid lipsticks. Now, I don't remember the exact color, but I'm going to show the picture of it here. Now, I did not see this myself. Ripley sent this to me, and by the time I got to look at it at a later time, it was deleted. The picture is gone, or that I can find anyway. So again, I did not see this, but Ripley is someone I trust. I don't think that she would make this up, and she saw it directly with her own eyes and sent this to me. This wasn't something that was floating around. So when you see that they do those 3 different arm swatches, like, 2 up and 1 down for like light, medium, and deep skin tones, she saw this little mark on the side of the deep skin tone, and it literally was like a paintbrush stroke. So it had looked like they had taken, and then when she zoomed it, she took a screenshot of the picture and then zoomed in, and then on the side of the arm, you can see like pink bars where like they didn't coat the whole thing. And I told her, are you sure? Because even the palm in this picture, I mean, you can see a contrast in a different color. And she sent me pictures of her palms too. And again, I'm not a person of color, so I just have my own hands to compare them to. But basically, it appears that they had photoshopped a deeper color on either an already existing person of color's arm to make them deeper, or it could have been a non-person of color that they just totally wanted to make sure that they had swatches on all, so they just deepened one arm on every. I don't know. To me, I was like, especially in this day and age and this climate, I mean, you have to be stupid to do that. I have no idea why you would even risk doing something like that. Especially, this is like a large brand. You're right in LA. It's not like you're in Timbuktu or something in the middle of nowhere and you don't have access to models of all skin types. So if you're a person of color, I would not necessarily gauge what the colors will look like by the website themselves. I'm going to link a couple reviews below where you guys can see them in action against deeper skin tones, because out of the 24 I have, Ripley bought 10 and then she got other shades so she could try them out too. If they were just pictures I found online, I'd be happy to insert them, but there are other creators' videos and I don't want to take screenshots from their video and put them in mine because they worked hard for their video. I'll just send you in their directions so they can get the view for the video. Now let's get into some cost breakdowns and comparisons to see where these really fall. So right here, these are all individual shadows with the exception of the Viseart. That is their 12-pan $80 palettes. Just because I want you guys to see, I know those palettes always do seem really expensive, and they are to buy all at once, but the quality of the product you get, you guys know they're my favorite, so I just like to put them up there. You can see actually that Viseart is lower cost per gram. They come in at $3.34 per gram, where ColourPop comes in at $4.17. And that's because the Viseart eyeshadows are 2 grams each, and the ColourPop press ones are only 1.2. So the Juvia's Place, that's their individual shadows. They do have palettes as well. The Morphe individuals, all of these are individuals. Then on this next screen here, I wanted to show you, based on brand, what it would cost you to buy 12 shades. And then how much product you would be getting with those 12 shades and how much that brings down the cost per gram. The reason for that is because Makeup Geek and some other companies do every 3 you buy, it drops the price down when you add a little one of their 3-pan palettes in. For me personally, I would rather spend the $20 more on the Viseart for the 12 shades. If you can see, ColourPop is $60 for 12 shades and Viseart is $80. But the Viseart, you're getting 24 grams of product, which is almost 10 grams more than ColourPop that you're getting 14.4 grams. So you can see here, again, at the cost per gram, they're going from the least expensive cost per gram to the most expensive cost per gram. The reason I compare these two is because in my mind, everything that is less expensive than what we're looking at should be worse quality. That's what I'm thinking of. It's like, why would I pay more than for something that's less expensive that is better? I do like these better than my MAC shadows. I feel like some of them are equal with my Makeup Geek. Some are better than Makeup Geek. Some aren't. In my opinion, though, Makeup Geek has way better customer service. If you're unhappy with something or you have a problem, they're like this with that. For them to just say they don't take any returns or exchanges or anything like that. Now let's get into some swatches, guys. So when I list the name, if it has a green check mark, it's one that I would recommend. And if it has a red X, it's one that I don't care for just because the performance isn't there for me. These do hold their own though in the comparison swatches that I will show you. They're just a little more work to blend. And after the initial swatches of the 24 shades I have, it will then go into some comparisons ranging from less expensive to very expensive, so you can just see how they compare versus a finger swatch and a brush swatch. There are a ton of dupes out there. The majority of the ones that I found was by looking at Temptalia's page. She is amazing for dupes and those things. I'm not going to take her work and insert them here or even list them. I will just direct you to her page, which I will link below, because she works really hard for that. I can't even imagine all the shades that she has swatched, how she even keeps a database of all that information. It's amazing to me. For the 10 shades that I have that are similar to Ripley's, I will be inserting her pictures up in the corner here. I will also link her Instagram below where you guys can check out her full synopsis review, as well as the swatches of the ones that she has. As always, I will have Ripley's foundation shade listed below for a point of reference. Okay guys, let's get into some swatches now. I will be swatching in my typical fashion. I will be laying down a base of Urban Decay's Primer Potion. I will be swatching the shimmer shades with my MAC 242 brush, and I will be swatching the mattes with my MAC 239 brush. In between swatches, I will be cleaning my brush in my color switch so my brush will not be damp. As always, the first swatch will be a finger swatch, and the one right next to it will be a brush swatch, just so you can see the difference in performance.
So you and me will kiss the sky goodnight. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. I know where we can go, where the sunrise lasts forever. Come get lost with me. Come get lost with me. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. I know where we can go, where the sunrise lasts forever, and it's all you and me. We'll kiss the sky goodnight.
Would I repurchase the ones that I have? There are some that I do really like that I would repurchase, and I will star those in the description box below. Would I recommend these shadows? I would if you don't mind ordering online and you're okay with the no exchange or return policy. Do I think that these shadows are worth it? Yes, I think that they're worth the $5 that they each are. I do prefer these far, far better than Super Shock shadows. I know so many of you guys love them. I don't like the shimmers because of my Dragon Lady nails. I stab myself in the eye. And the mattes for me were really difficult to apply. I prefer certain brushes, so those were never my cup of tea. I won't buy any more unless it's a collaboration of someone that I like or it's a really unique color, because I feel like all of these colors, every color on planet Earth has been done before. Unless the formula is something that really wows me, I'm not going to get any more. I have had a lot of you tell me too, because you like busy art just as much as I do, and you guys have said like, why would you buy these? Well, because not everybody wants to drop $80 all at once where you have to do that. And they do have those less expensive, smaller palettes now. But for some people, this is a cost-effective way to start building their collection. You know, buy a $5 transition color or spend $30 at a time makes people more comfortable sometimes. So when I sit down to do my makeup, I was playing with these to test, but what I could tell was when I was getting ready to go out at night or with my friends and I knew I wanted like a consistent look with colors that I really enjoyed, I wasn't reaching for these. That to me tells me that I don't really care for them as much. So in closing, would I recommend these? Yes, if you like the $5 price tag. If you already have the shades that they offer and you're happy with the performance, do I think that these are going to be anything in particular that really wow you? No. If you're coming from something like a Morphe or those shadows, these are 1,000 times better than that. I feel like if you're coming from something like the Viseart eyeshadows to these, you're not going to like them. So I hope you guys found this review helpful. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.